did a video before called Crabs in a Bucket Mentality. I'm going to expand on that concept in this video. Crabs in a bucket, where you put crabs inside a bucket and one tries to climb out, the other crabs pull it down. Human envy, human jealousy. And you see this everywhere. It's just like how life pretty much works. Even in a city, like you can have a big chain come in and put a business, and everyone goes like, oh, we're opening a Walmart, we're opening whatever, and everyone thinks, oh, it's going to bring jobs to the city, it's going to bring help the economy, whatever. So everyone goes and shops at Walmart, right? We're lining the pockets of somebody that makes a lot of money from this, and there's layers to it, and a couple people make a lot of money, and then a lot of people are at the bottom as the workers. And so everyone's fine with like a big chain coming into their city. Everyone's fine with shopping at these big stores. And then when someone in their own city is like, hey, here's my business, they post about it on Facebook or something, people get annoyed by it. People are like, oh, like self-promoter, or like, why are you trying to advance, or who do you think you are? Because when it's our own city, when it's our own people, just everyone has a problem with it. So I'm not saying don't shop at Walmart, don't shop at big stores, don't watch movies, don't listen to music. Like people, when you talk like that too, it's like, oh, you like ruining like movies for me, or you're ruining my worldview. You talk, but it's like no, I'm just talking about like, look, you can't be a guy in your 20s that's getting older, trying to come into his own as a man, and you can't just be like, oh, dude, like, did you see this new movie with this one actor? Like, oh, this is a great movie, and then like you pay $12 at the movie theater to see it in support of these people making millions, and then like our own group, you don't get what we're trying to do. It's just like, dude, like no one cares about like a movie or like someone else's business, some big chain, or like some pro athlete, or like some celebrity, some person on Instagram you don't know. It's just like everyone's like that though. It's like if it's some outsider, they don't even think about anything in terms of the context. And if it's somebody that they're just talking to, all of a sudden they just reevaluate everything and they don't want the person to advance. And that's just how it is. It's crabs in the bucket. Like, why does that person have something? Why does that person do something? Why do they have a circumstance I don't have, or I don't comprehend? And that's just how people are. People will look at you like, thinking a YouTube channel is like, oh, that's crazy. The chances of like your YouTube channel going somewhere, like what a crazy idea. Like, how hard that is to do. People say that all the time, but it's like, if the content makes sense to somebody, then it makes sense to somebody. It's like the person saying that, like, they're on their phone every day watching YouTube, but they're just watching like who knows what, just junk probably, just like stuff that doesn't like fill their mind or their soul, or make them think, or just whatever. But it's just like people, it's like, oh, I've already evaluated this thing. Like you'll be walking with a group of people, and then like years after high school or years after college, someone says like, whoa, like so and so is like a musician and has like SoundCloud followers, and they're traveling the world, like that's crazy. And it's just like, it's not that crazy. Like if you're just gonna sit there your whole life and just look at like celebrities doing it, like at a certain point you got to expand your mind. Like it's just a person, it's just a human being. Like everyone you can see like went to someone's high school or went to someone's college, grew up in a family with like other members in that family, had friends growing up and neighbors and like jobs they've worked. It's just like people don't have that consciousness to it. And this is the problem with the world. This is people talk about like depression and mental illness, mental health. Like the main thing is just the crabs in the bucket. We never like support our own people advancing. We never support our own people doing stuff. We're always supporting the random like Walmart that comes in. Everyone will be packed in a Walmart, especially this year, 2020. So like the quarantine happens, right? And so like everyone gets all panicked and like buys a bunch of stuff and like toilet paper and all of that. And so you'll see a bunch of people that are in this store just like trying to get the resources before their neighbor does. Like, oh, I got to get mine before he like removes the shelves. So everyone is just like frantically trying to get theirs. But it's just like we're gonna pay this store that's gonna make all this money. We're gonna like try to go for our own before anyone else can get any on the shelf. So we're like fighting amongst each other, amongst the rats, right? But like this one guy at the top is making money, but like in that Walmart, if I were to say, hey, here's like a business idea I'm working on, the person just like, man, we don't have time for that. Don't you know there's a pandemic going on, and like, you know what I mean? Like it's just like, it's like, dude, like how much of your talking point is you actually trying to be like this conscious person that like knows what's going on, and how much of it is just like you're in your box, dude. You just like you listen to things and that's just what you think it is. And like if it's like anybody else, like I said, like we're in that store, like the owner of that Walmart or whatever, that big chain, you don't even think about that, like every single person here in the store is like paying for this. But then like our own people can be doing something and you don't get the context, because it's like, oh well, we're seeing each other eye to eye at this point. Why would you have a business? Why would you make more money? Why would you get your health together? Why would you have something I don't have? Why would you do something I don't do? It's just crazy. And this is what it is. It's crab in the bucket mentality. You put a bunch of crabs in a bucket, one of them tries to climb out and the rest of them pull it down, as opposed to coming together to form like a crab ladder so that they can all get out of the bucket. They pull someone down that's trying to get out, so they all stay stuck in the bucket. So that's what this bucket is. These groups of people that you have, it's your family members, your friends, the people you went to school with, your coworkers, your hometown. Like that's another thing too. Like people talk about music and they want to like do that for a living, or some kind of art or some kind of craft. um, it's not going to be the person from your hometown that's supporting it, right? The musician always goes and gets hot in other cities before returning to their own city, and then their city goes, oh, now I see why they're talented, or now I see why the music's good. If it's just you putting it out in your city, people just think it's noise, like you're just like the weird person practicing in the garage, like just oh, like pipe dream, that's just what it is. That's just how people are. So like you can't just like you can't expect things from people, for one, and people don't understand growth. They don't understand trying to get on the good path. They don't understand positivity. They don't understand someone that just has a different thing going on in life than they have, because they're trying to make sense of it from their own spiritual path. Like they're trying to make sense of their identity for what they're perceiving as your identity. So it's always going to be this crabs in the bucket mentality with it, no matter what year it is or how far we advance. um, it's always going to be there. It's like a part of nature. So to a certain extent it makes sense, because say there's a limited amount of food, and there's a group of us like in the wild or something, we're trying to survive, and there's like 10 of us. If one person just tries to be like a selfish glutton and just like takes all the food, just like eats it all themselves and doesn't think about rationing it out, yeah, the other 9 are gonna have a problem with that, because we need to survive. So there's a certain level of like envy and jealousy, and hey, like what are you doing, like why are you getting that? So there's a certain level of that when it comes to our own survival and our own well-being, which is healthy. But then you get to be grown adults, and these people are like, I'm making 40 grand a year, and that guy's making 60, that guy's making 80, that guy's making 100. How come I drive a Ford and he has a Mercedes? How come he has a Lambo? Like how come he has millions? How come he has billions? Like why is he traveling? Why am I stuck here in my hometown? Why is that guy traveling? How come he got a promotion? How come he has a hot wife? How come I'm single? Or how come I'm stuck in this marriage, and how come he's free as a bachelor? Like both sides on anything we could talk about, someone just gets jealous. Like that's just what happens. Someone just gets fucking jealous and they get envious, and they don't understand it. They don't understand like people trying to seek balance. So like me in my 20s at 26 right now, I'm very nomadic. Like I'm social, and like with this tie-dye job that I do right now, I like talking to people, but I like people that like they like kind of get things on a certain level. Like at 26, like I've been like this my whole life, but like I don't want to hang out with friends and just like watch like a football game, and then like while we're watching the game I'm like, hey, here's something I'm trying to do with my future, and the room just like switches the subject, it gets awkward, or like Tom Brady throws a touchdown and someone interrupts what you're saying to like cheer. But it's like dude, like Tom Brady's like a guy, right? Like it's like a person like making money that you're supporting right now, or like the movie we're watching, or like the clothes we're wearing we bought from someone else. That's another thing too. Like I sell this tie-dye in San Diego. People sometimes, when I was getting into this, it was like, oh well, like that's not a real job, like how's that lucrative? It's like, dude, you're wearing a shirt. Like you bought it from someone. Like, oh, like it's me trying to do something with my life. It's me trying to like enjoy my existence at the beach where it's beautiful and there's animals and scenery, and like things just make sense. So like you're trying to do the thing in your life that makes sense, and someone doesn't want your life to make sense. They don't want you to advance. They want to pull you back down into their corporate stuff. Me right here, I'm selling at the beach with water and birds and fish and just like beautiful scenery. They want you like in those buildings, right? They want you at some like cubicle stuff. They want you like in one of those concrete structures doing what they're doing. That's their bucket, and they see you leaving the bucket. And that's another thing with this tie-dye too. California has this new vendor law where they passed it a couple years ago, and it went to effect on January 1st of 19, where anyone can be a vendor in public parks without a permit. Now, if you're doing food, you need a health permit, but anything else like you do like clothing or custom jewelry or photography, anything entrepreneurial that isn't food, you don't need any sort of permit. You can just come out and set up a table with no permit. And of course, you have to, if you're doing that, like getting into your own business and you're setting up your table, you're supposed to claim taxes at the end of the year and do all of that. But as far as getting the permit to sell, anyone can do it. This nonprofit I've worked for has been here for 30 years. We've had site-specific spots to sell this tie-dye, but anyone now in the city can come up and set up a table and like start a business or just like anything they want, like push whatever they're doing and get out here in public. And there's a few vendors that have been doing it, but a lot of people that I talk to, they don't even know about it. But some people, they're hesitant to really come out and do it. They know they have that idea, they know they have that business that they want to start, or they have started it, but they're hesitant about putting it in front of strangers. And it always comes back to, because like they know whenever they're trying to do something, it's always like these people around them, their own city, their family, their friends, their coworkers, their classmates, they're always like the discouraging people. So they have years of experience of other people just shooting them down and discouraging them. So you're telling them something like, hey, like the stranger's going to support it more, come out here to the beach, come out here to the parks, put your stuff out there. People are going to respect your stuff. People are going to respect what you got going on because they're seeing the product, they're seeing the service. They're not judging you on some petty stuff that has nothing to do with what you're talking about, what you're selling, and what you're offering. And that because it's crabs in the bucket, so people don't know how to make that leap because they have so many years of life experience of just like being kicked down and nobody believes in them and everyone always talks shit and everyone's negative and they don't want you to advance, they don't want you to be successful at what you're doing. And so it discourages people, and the older they get, they deal with these life concepts for so long that they form this view about themselves, like they're this like, oh, like I can't do it because like everyone told me I can't do it, right? And so that's why I like this vendor law, because it gives people the opportunity to come out here. And like for me, like I'd rather pay like a local person. I mean, I don't mind if someone wants to start a huge company, and if the owner of Walmart, good for you, like do your thing. But I'm just saying, like, why not have other people come up? Like right now, it's a little bit dead today, but there's one vendor over here, and it's awesome. Like she has pendants and jewelry. Like if I'm gonna buy jewelry, like why wouldn't I buy from her as opposed to like a big chain? I can support a local, or like some guy's photography. You can go get a generic painting, or you can just go get someone's custom work and support someone here.